America's small towns are known for quiet nights, friendly neighbors, and a sense of safety. But sometimes, behind the peaceful streets and white picket fences, darkness waits silently. Today, we travel to the quiet state of Colorado, to a house that locals call the Silent House on Willow Creek Road, a home where one woman vanished, and the truth took nearly a decade to uncover. Beat pause. This is the story of Emma Caldwell, and the mystery that haunted an entire community. It was October 14, 2011, when 32-year-old Emma Caldwell was last seen leaving her small art studio in Fort Collins, Colorado. Emma was known in town as a warm, soft-spoken artist who painted nature scenes and taught weekend classes for kids. She lived alone in a modest two-story house in Willow Creek Road, a quiet street lined with maple trees and families who had lived there for generations. Her neighbor, Linda Morrison, remembers the last time she saw Emma. Linda voice actor imitation. She waved at me like she always did. She looked happy, normal. Nothing seemed wrong. I never imagined that would be the last time. Emma's routine was simple, predictable. She closed her studio at 6 p.m., walked the blocks to her car, and drove home. But that night, she never made it. When Emma didn't show up at her Saturday art class the next morning, her students waited, then called her phone. No answer. By evening, her family filed a missing person report. Detective Mark Jensen, a 15-year veteran of the Fort Collins Police Department, took the lead. The first red flag appeared immediately. Emma's car was missing. Police canvassed the area, interviewed neighbors, searched local roads, and issued a BOLO alert across Colorado. 3 days later, her car was found abandoned 12 miles away, near Horsetooth Reservoir. The keys were still inside. Her purse lay on the passenger seat, untouched. No fingerprints except hers. But the most chilling detail? The driver's seat was pulled far back, too far for Emma, who is only 5'4". Detective Jensen noted, "This wasn't a robbery. This wasn't random. Someone moved that car." Still, there were no signs of struggle, no eyewitnesses, and no lead. When investigators searched Emma's home, nothing seemed abnormal at first. The front door was locked, the lights were off. Her wallet and phone were on the kitchen counter. But then they found something disturbing. In the hallway leading to the basement, the wallpaper near the floor had fresh scratches, long, thin marks, as if something sharp had dragged across it. In the basement, a single box was pulled off a shelf. Inside were old letters and photographs. Among them was an envelope labeled, "Do not open -2003, Detective Jensen." "Do not open -2003. Detective Jensen opened it. Inside were several handwritten notes, all from the same man. A name appeared over and over again. Caleb Wright. The letters were obsessive, praising her artwork, talking about their future, apologizing for mistakes, and ending with, "I'll never let you go again." Emma never told her family about Caleb. No one had heard his name. Who was he? Police quickly dug into public records. Caleb Wright had lived in Boulder, Colorado, 8 years earlier. No criminal history, no recent address. He had seemingly vanished in 2005. Just like Emma, months passed. Then years. No body, no sign of Emma, no confirmed sightings of Caleb. By 2013, the case had officially gone cold. Emma's home remained empty. Locals began calling it the Silent House. Some said they could still see a light flicker in the basement at night. But police found no evidence. For a long time, Willow Creek Road tried to forget, but the mystery never left. A breakthrough. 8 years later, in January 29, 2019, everything changed. During routine maintenance at an old storage facility in Cheyenne, Wyoming, to 45 miles from Fort Collins, workers discovered that one locker hadn't been paid for in nearly a decade. Following procedure, they forced it open. Inside were dusty furniture pieces, boxes of old clothing, and a small green trunk that was surprisingly heavy. When police opened the trunk, they discovered several of Emma's missing paintings, a set of her house keys, and a single USB drive. Detective Jensen was called out of retirement to consult. When investigators accessed the USB, they found video files, dozens of them. The videos showed a man sitting in a dimly lit room, speaking directly to the camera. The timestamp on the first video was from March 2003. The man identified himself as Caleb Wright in the videos. Caleb describes how he met Emma in an art workshop in Boulder in 2002. He fell in love instantly, but Emma wanted nothing to do with him romantically. The videos start normal, even polite, but with each file, his tone shifts. He becomes angry, obsessive, delusional. In the final video, dated October 12, 2011, just 2 days before Emma's disappearance, he says, "I'm going to bring her home. She'll understand. She just needs time alone with me." Then he looks into the camera, and smiles. Police obtained a warrant to track Caleb using old DMV records, family contacts, and employment files, but he had no digital footprint at all after 2005, except for one clue found in the storage locker contract. The locker had been rented under the name C.W. Harper. Harper was Caleb's mother's maiden name. When police traced the payment method, it led them to an old prepaid debit card used at a gas station in Laramie, Wyoming, a rural area surrounded by forest. From there, surveillance footage showed a tall man with a beard, wearing a heavy jacket, not enough for ID but enough to confirm Caleb was alive in 2019. Search teams combed through the woods for days, until on the evening of February 4th, an officer spotted something odd, an old cabin with boarded windows, hidden deep between pine trees. There was no electricity, no running water, and yet, smoke rose from the chimney. Police approached cautiously. They announced themselves. No answer. When they forced the door open, Caleb Wright was sitting in a wooden chair, staring at the wall. He didn't run. He didn't fight. He simply muttered, "You ruined everything." She was finally quiet. Trapped inside the cabin, investigators found journals written by Caleb. What they discovered was horrific. According to the journals, Caleb had been stalking Emma for years, long before she reported anything suspicious. In 2011, he followed her from her studio, confronted her in her driveway, and forced her into her own house. The scratches on the wall, Emma trying to fight back. Caleb wrote that he kept her in the basement for several days, convinced that she would eventually accept him, but she didn't. On the fourth day, Emmy attempted to escape. During the struggle, she fell down the basement steps and suffered a fatal head injury. Caleb panicked. He wrapped her body, placed it in his truck, and drove her into the national forest near Wyoming. He buried her somewhere in the woods, but even after his arrest, he refused to reveal the exact location. Caleb Wright was charged with kidnapping, criminal homicide, evidence tampering, and lawful concealment of a human body. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Emma's body has still never been found. The house on Willow Creek Road was sold in 2020. The new owners said they wanted to bring light back to the home, but locals still say that at night, when the wind moves through the trees, the old house sometimes creaks, as if someone is still walking in the hallway. Emma's family started a foundation in her name to help victims of stalking and coercive relationships. The Emma Caldwell Foundation. Detective Jensen, now fully retired, calls the case the most haunting of his career. He once said, "Evil doesn't always show itself in big cities or dark alleys. Sometimes it hides in small towns, behind quiet doors, waiting for the right moment." This was the story of Emma Caldwell, the woman behind the silent house on Willow Creek Road. A story of obsession, loss, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Beat pause if you want more gripping crime stories. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is CrimeTale, where every story leaves a shadow.